Gen V is a spin-off from The Boys, but it removes all the good parts that makes the show watchable, such as Billy Butcher and Homelander, and instead what the show chooses to replace it with are things like shallow characters with weak motivations, terrible pacing, contrived writing, people becoming best friends with each other despite having only just met, and worst of all is the heavy-handed political messaging shoved down your throat every 30 seconds. Gen V is somehow even more of a feminist wet dream than The Boys ever was. Don't believe me? Well, let me introduce you to Marie Monroe, the main character of the series, and her power is that she can use her own period blood as a weapon. That's right, she actually uses her own womanhood as a literal weapon, because what screams female empowerment more than flinging bodily fluids at someone? Gen V has 2 female showrunners and this is what they could come up with. A girl on her period, how original. This is exactly what happened when Pixar hired an all-female writing staff and all they could come up with is a period allegory about a girl and her red panda. Well done ladies, how original. You're really breaking the stereotype. And when one of the showrunners was asked what makes this show stand apart from The Boys, she said this: "It's like The Boys is about the boys, and this is about a girl, a woman." So the premise of this entire show is about a group of very unlikable progressive Zoomers whose only personality is whatever mental illness they choose to wear as an identity. They attend a super college which has them facing all sorts of problems like bulimia, online hate, cutting themselves for no reason, and people refusing to call them by their preferred pronouns.
I'm not a boy, Dad. Not all the time. And I'm sorry that you hate that.
Sometimes I think you change into a girl just to spite me.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Not only are the entire cast of characters unlikable assholes, but they are also incredibly evil. Not in the fun, self-aware Homelander kind of way where he is meant to be sinister, but in the modern, narcissistic, self-pitying type of way, in which all of their terrible behaviour is due to other people and not themselves. They unironically think that they are good people when all evidence is to the contrary. Now, a spin-off from The Boys isn't something anyone wanted or asked for, so why has it been made? Now, I believe there are 2 reasons for this. The first is that Eric Kripke hates how many people genuinely like Homelander as a character. I mean, in the recent season of The Boys, he has gone out of his way to humiliate him at every opportunity, and yet people still like him. Eric clearly doesn't want that to be the case, especially when he is supposed to be a Trump allegory. And the second reason is that this show is a response to a common criticism aimed not just at the creators of The Boys, but towards other showrunners of successful franchises. Its success is due to particular characters played by very well-liked actors carrying the show on their backs alone. In this case, this would be the 2 characters Billy Butcher played by Carl Urban and Homelander played by Anthony Starr, whose charisma has elevated the show above the dogshit writing. This is similar to how Henry Cavill played Geralt in The Witcher, where he single-handedly carried the show all by himself, so unsurprisingly when he quit, the franchise has basically imploded without him. So often the showrunners will delude themselves into believing that they are the real reason why their show is a success, and to prove it they will make a spin-off featuring original characters played by unknown actors and an original story. Lauren Hisrich did this with The Witcher by making Blood Origins, which unsurprisingly ended up being god-fucking awful. The people behind Castlevania have gone on to make Castlevania Nocturne, which is also complete dog shit. And now Eric Kripke and the other retards behind The Boys have made Gen V, and just like the other 2 spin-offs, it's fucking terrible. Gen V is badly written with poorly defined characters lacking any sort of motivation or reason to exist in the story. They have no depth whatsoever. The dialogue is horrendous with people talking like this.
Oh. Well, I'm kind of like PewDiePie without the Nazi stuff.
The comedy is late-night show bad, and the spin-off is completely reliant on over-the-top violence and sex scenes to distract the audience from a weak script. But all of that is nothing compared to the sheer volume of far left-wing propaganda that is crammed into every scene in the show. The main example of this would be the reversal of the 2 gender roles. Most of the women act like caricatures of men, meaning that they behave like hyper-aggressive childish assholes that constantly talk about either how much they love dick or they attack men for the pettiest of reasons. whereas all the men act like caricatures of women in that they are weak, over-emotional, and are often damsels in distress that need to be rescued. It's hilarious just how ironic this whole situation is, as the writers are trying to be so progressive that they end up revealing to all of us what they really think about men and women. They actually believe that toxic masculinity is empowering, which is why they have chosen for all of the women in the show to act this way. And what they think of as female behaviour they consider to be weakness, which is why they have assigned these traits to all the male characters in order to humiliate them. Well, now that we got all of that out of the way, let's break down this dogshit plot. It begins in the past with Maria's dad being happy that A-Train is joining the Seven for the sole reason that he is black.
First black man in the Seven.
Marie then goes on to have her period and her mother barges into the toilet. She accidentally shoots her menstruation right through her mother's neck just before her father runs into the room as she explodes her mother's blood, killing him as well. We flash forward to the present, and Marie has been accepted into the prestigious Godolphin University where all the top superheroes graduate from. So what exactly is her prime motivation?
I think you meant to say first black woman in the Seven.
And already, this is just a taste of what a vain arsehole she will be. When Marie moves into the university, she meets her roommate Emma, who is incredibly annoying. All she ever talks about is how much of a whore she is, and when she is not doing that, she is just wallowing around in self-pity about how nobody likes her. Now, Emma has the power to shrink, but in order to do so, she must first ingest and then vomit fluid. I don't know how the fuck that works either, as she is not losing any liquid, but it's just a very on-the-nose allegory for bulimia. So the pair of them become instant best friends despite not knowing anything about each other, before Emma goes on to show her just exactly who the popular kids are. First off is Golden Boy, who is basically Johnny Storm and is considered the best student in the school. Next is his girlfriend Kate, who can mind control people by touching them, so obviously she is going to be the real strongest super in the school. And finally there is Andre, who is just a bisexual black Magneto. Afterwards, Marie meets Clancy Brown, who rejects her from the crime fighters course, which means that she will not be able to get into the Seven. She then wanders around the campus aimlessly for several hours until she witnesses a super called Sam go on a rampage. This is all a contrived reason for Marie to use her powers and to be noticed by Andre, who decides to invite her out the next day. They go out clubbing that night, and during a party trick, Andre accidentally slits a woman's throat. Marie comes to the rescue and saves that person's life, for which she ends up going viral. The next morning, she is called in to meet Clancy Brown, who tells her to quit school in order to protect Andre's reputation, so she ends up running away and begins to cry as she cuts herself.
Oh, what a drama queen.
The next day, she goes back to meet Clancy Brown, but Golden Boy has already killed him. What a waste of a great actor. Golden Boy then ends up chasing Marie as he doesn't want anybody to find out what he did. Marie ends up being saved by Jordan Lee, a super who can change gender and powers. Now Jordan is bi-gendered, and that is all you need to know about the character, because outside of being a very on-the-nose trans allegory, Jordan has absolutely no personality or motivations whatsoever. Golden Boy makes it outside, cries in front of everybody before blowing himself up. And that's the end of episode 1.
That was terrible.
Marie, as the main character, is weak as fuck as she doesn't take an active role in driving the plot forward. Instead, things just happen around her as she conveniently is at the right place at the right time. All this does is make Marie completely useless. Moving on to episode 2, it starts with Golden Boy's girlfriend Kate finally showing up 9 hours after he died and doing an overly dramatic falling to her knees. We then cut to a meeting of the incredibly diverse school board, and as the white male gives his opinion, he is immediately mocked.
What about Jordan Lee?
Oh, a bi-gender Asian with pronoun fuckery. Great fucking idea, Kyle. Try selling that to Dallas and Fort Lauderdale.
So Marie is now popular because she is being pushed as the one who stopped Golden Boy. At his memorial, a group of white boys wearing red hats are having fun. Geez, I wonder who they could possibly be representing. Well, Kate walks up and brainwashes one of them to repeatedly hit himself in the balls with a baseball bat. Wow, Kate is a massive cunt. Other people are clearly exploiting the death of Golden Boy for views on social media, and yet she only picks out the bleach blonde white guy with a red hat to attack purely because of who he represents.
Oh, what a bitch!
As Marie is being pushed as the next star of the school, Andre wants her to help investigate Golden Boy's death, but he gets very angry when she doesn't want to.
That's it? You were just gonna run off? With your fancy fucking clothes?
She doesn't know who the fuck you are. You only hung around the one time, and now you are acting like she is a long-time friend and she is selling out. This is all just forced drama because the writing is dog shit. Marie tells him she is not interested because why would she be? And afterwards, Jordan Lee, the trans allegory, shows up and says it deserves the credit for stopping Golden Boy. And the only reason why it is being overlooked is because Florida is full of bigots.
It ever occur to you why you're getting it and I'm not? Because bigender doesn't play in Jacksonville.
Oh, shut the fuck up!
At the same time this is happening, Emma the slut is upset because the random guy she fucked last episode is now going out with another woman. Instead of having any self-awareness and considering that maybe, just maybe, getting fucked by a revolving door of cock may not be such a healthy lifestyle, what ends up happening is another woman steps in and says this.
Let me guess. You made this poor girl get small because that's the only way your prick looks big?
It's so ironic when ultra-progressive shows like this say that making fun of someone's appearance or physical shortcomings is bigoted, and yet when it's a white guy, they always make fun of his penis size. It's almost like the writers behind this are hypocritical pieces of shit. The girl goes full retard and says this.
He bangs everyone to compensate for his tiny thimble dick.
Well, that's just silly.
Silly, yes. Idiotic, yes.
So because of that, this bitch and Emma become instant best friends, and despite only knowing her for 5 minutes, Emma decides to tell her embarrassing secret, which is that she has to vomit in order to get small. So unsurprisingly, this bitch goes on to make a video revealing the secret to the entire school, and Emma is upset by this.
Well, to be honest, it sounds like it was all your fault.
The third and final plotline is with Andre and Kate as they investigate his death. Golden Boy's room has been scrubbed clean, but after a while they end up finding a video made by him, which is for some reason located inside the crotch of a bronze statue. How exactly did it get there? No idea, it's never explained. The recording made by Golden Boy says that he is looking for his brother who is underneath the school. Andre then breaks into Clancy Brown's office, and for some reason this place has remained completely untouched, even though his computer contains enormous amounts of incriminating evidence. When Andre finds the laptop, it has just been left out on the desk like a set of car keys, and the only security it has is a single fingerprint scan to unlock it, to which Andre is somehow able to do it.
That doesn't make any sense!
His ability is magnetism, not computer hacking. All he can do is bend the metal inside the laptop, which would break it. This shows us that the writers clearly don't have any understanding as to how technology works. Also, this computer has top secret information on it, and it doesn't even have a password or two-step verification. Fuck me, it has less security than my Google account. But the bad writing doesn't stop here, as only now, 2 days after Clancy Brown's death, do the super secret security team show up to come and collect the laptop.
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
They barely check the room as Andre is able to hide underneath the desk. I mean, when they cleaned up Golden Boy's room, they picked that place apart, but I guess they just couldn't be bothered this time. What's even worse is that they come from a secret underground lab that nobody knows about called The Woods, and yet despite being top secret, Andre is somehow able to easily follow them all the way back to the entrance.
This is fucking retarded.
Andre is then caught by 2 random guards that come out of nowhere, but of course, being a man, he needs to be rescued by Deus Ex Kate, who makes the male security guard do this to the woman.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
I actually feel a level of embarrassment for the actor who has to do this. Surely what little they are paying you is not worth destroying your dignity by doing this. And so the final part of the episode is Marie taking full credit for stopping Golden Boy, and that was the end of episode 2.
God, that was boring.
We have seen 2 hours of Gen V, and all we have are terrible, unlikable characters with weak as fuck motivations who spend most of the episode crying about nothing. So with no good characters and a shallow storyline, the show has fuck all to offer. Gen V sucks ass and is extremely contrived, as everyone has to be incredibly stupid in order for the plot to move forward. But what can you expect when the show is made by retarded activists that live in an echo chamber? Anyway, that was the first 2 episodes of Gen V.
It's a piece of shit.